Hey football freaks, it's Alan. Just wanted to take the time here to let you know that this week's show is brought to you by Pretty Easy Podcasts. If you're thinking of doing a podcast, there is a way for you to do a show without having to become an audio editing master, a production whiz kid. You can just go to prettyeasypodcast.com and get your own personal producer at a very, very low cost. That'll be someone who can guide you, assist you, help you out with whatever you need to get your podcast off the ground. If you have an idea or a topic you want to talk about on a weekly basis, a daily basis, it doesn't matter. Go to prettyeasypodcast.com. Get started today. Take some of the hassle of starting a podcast off your shoulders and let the audio professionals at Pretty Easy Podcasts help you out. Pretty Easy Podcasts is where podcasters go to get their shows recorded and posted with a complete podcast studio at their disposal. Record from home or your office or anywhere, really. Pretty Easy Podcasts caters to your schedule and gives you a producer for your show at your beck and call. Go to prettyeasypodcasts.com, sign up today, be heard, have some fun podcasting, and don't let a lack of technical knowledge hold you back. Go to prettyeasypodcasts.com today.
This is the future. This is not the past.
The new XFL will kick off in 2020.
If you smell what the XFL is cooking.
It's still football, but it's professional football reimagined.
This is our moment, our story to tell. This is history begun.
This is the XFL.
Welcome, football fans. This is the week of December 8th, 2019. This is the road to 2020, and this is the XFL show. I'm Alan.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Bryant.
This week we got uniforms, and mini camps have begun. This is episode 99. We got full gear with only 9 weeks till kickoff in 2020. This was one of those weeks that a lot of us will remember, especially, I'm sure, Jake, who made it a point that this week he wasn't missing this show because this is the moment you've been waiting for in particular, huh?
Yes. Can we just, skip everything and get right to the uniforms?
Oh.
Can we get a little out of order this week?
Are you kidding?
Out of order, Jake. Oh, my God.
I've been waiting
Out of character.
99 weeks for this.
Probably more than that, actually.
I've heard rumors that this is a gift that we should not be, we should be very thankful that we got this gift, is what I've heard.
We will.
If you don't have your Christmas tree up yet, you might as well not even put it up.
We will be getting to uniforms, Jake. It will be a good, crisp discussion about the uniforms. I promise. But this show, it's episode 99. It was the week we found out what the helmets and jerseys would look like. It's a week where minicamp started. So we have to jam-pack this episode full of content. Not only uniform talk, but we've got two, not just one, two good, crisp interviews this week. I spoke with head coach, general manager of the St. Louis BattleHawks, Jonathan Hayes, and Bryant, you spoke with quarterback of the LA Wildcats, Josh Johnson. I was hoping we'd give the BattleHawks some shine, but then you go ahead and say, oh yeah, by the way, I got Josh Johnson.
I'm going to dim their shine just a little bit here today with the better interview. No, I'm joking. But great to get both of these guests. It's going to be a great interview. Alan, I want to go back real quick. Jake, you're so overwhelmed that you didn't even get in your catchphrase, my friend. Maybe you should say that right now real quick.
We're closer than ever because jerseys are finally here. Helmets, colors of socks. I know people, either won or lost a lot of money on prop bets about sock color over the past week.
I don't know if socks are official just yet, Jake. I'll believe sock color once we see the players take the field in just 9 weeks. But what a show we have lined up today. So uniform talk amongst us. We have 2 interviews. You'll be hearing from quarterback from the LA Wildcats, Josh Johnson, and head coach, general manager of the St. Louis BattleHawks, Jonathan Hayes, who will be discussing getting his team assimilated and ready at minicamp in St. Louis this week. All 8 teams have begun their mini camps. We're going to dive into those as well. and all the little pieces of news and notes you need to know from around the league as we get underway. At XFL Show is where you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And the YouTube is a fantastic place to go as well because, well, last week we had Sam Schwartzstein on the show, Bryant, talking about the football, which I've been tossing around all week long. I got my BattleHawks ball. You got your Guardians ball. Go Guardians, yes. By the way. Excuse me. Go Guardians. I love saying that. But our Sam Schwartzstein interview from last week is up by itself on YouTube if anyone wants to check it out.
It really is. There's a lot of great content up there, Alan. Like you say, we always splice this show and put it on the YouTube. So go check that out to catch what Sam Schwartzstein said about the entire process of putting this football together. Right now, you know, I have the football in my hands and it just feels like a lot of work went into this thing. Jake, I'm sure we're going to be able to play catch with this someday, but it's just go Guardians. I mean, it's a lot of work that went into this. So go check our YouTube out to go hear our interview with Sam Schwartzstein.
So that would mean that if you have your Guardians ball in your hand, Bryant, then that means you're on duty. That's their hashtag. Hashtag on duty.
So if I'm on duty, so I'm on duty now?
Anytime you got that ball in your mitts, yeah, you're on duty, man.
Well, I mean, I guess when I'm sleeping, I'm on duty because I've literally been like cradling that thing as I go to bed just to make sure no one comes in and takes that from me. What was that, Jake?
I said that's good practice too.
It is. It is high and tight.
Fumble proof while you're sleeping. It's really pretty cool.
High and tight, baby. Also, instant reaction to the uniform reveal. We did that. We had a show. Brian and I, as soon as the last jerseys were revealed, the LA Wildcats jerseys, late night on Tuesday, we did a show live on our YouTube channel, and that's also up on our YouTube page, as well as the podcast feed if you want to hear what we thought about these uniforms right away. Now we've had a little bit to think about them some more. I've changed my favorite jersey uniform scheme probably 20 times, Brian. I don't know about you, but that instant reaction show will forever be there as what we first thought about those beautiful uniforms.
Well, we didn't just go through the uniforms and the helmets and the home and the ways and the shoes and the socks. We also talked about the presentation from what the teams did to actually, display these uniforms. We talked about what LA did, how great that was because they put a lot of effort into having a ring announcer there and introducing all their players with the jerseys. So it was a lot of fun. So go check that live episode. It's also available on the podcast platform. So if you want to check that out there as well, or there's some cool graphics to check it out with on YouTube as well.
And we really appreciate all the feedback everybody was giving us during that show and afterwards as well on the YouTube channel and at XFL Show on Twitter. That was a really fun night of interaction with all the football freaks out there looking at those XFL uniforms. And then also, this past week, we've been busy. We did another bonus show on Patreon where Jake, you, me, and Vince, we got together, talked about our favorite things about the XFL so far on this road to 2020. The best things the XFL has done, and we threw some stuff out there, but really talked a whole lot about that TV deal and, I guess, the concept of time.
Yeah, we did. We were talking about, our favorite things that we've seen so far. Of course, this was pre-uniform reveal. So
are you going to change yours now?
That was not in there. We also talked about what we thought was, the smartest decisions that the league as a whole had, that they've made. So, of course, yeah, that's all up there on the Patreon for those of you that subscribe or are thinking about subscribing.
Yeah, and if you want to get all that extra content that's all on the Patreon, check it out. It's absolutely awesome if you want to give to the show. It helps us just, dive deeper into coming up with content for you. So we're willing to do it, and we love that you back us, and we appreciate all of our patrons and anyone who gives us a look-see there. That's patreon.com/This Is the XFL Show. Bryant, you might have been the busiest this week because not only did you do all of that, but you also had a get-together with some fellow LA Wildcats fans on Monday.
Yeah, Alan, it was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. It was a lot of fun. The LA Wildcats held a kind of a closed-door event with some of the diehards that have been at all these meet and greets that I keep telling you guys that everyone should be going to kind of get a feel for how the fans are doing, what they're thinking, how excited they are about the LA Wildcats. So it was really cool. I mean, never in a million years that I keep saying that about all the things we keep doing with the league. that I think I was going to be at the corporate office of the LA Wildcats, sitting there talking about fan engagement strategies with the team. So that was really cool. It was great to see everyone, Heather, Lisa, Steve, Pete, everybody there that I've seen at these meet and greets, and to actually interact with them in a somewhat, informative way. They cared about what I thought. They cared about what everyone that was there thought. So it was cool to sit there and just enjoy the night and talk about some football and fan engagement for sure.
That's awesome. That's going on in all the cities. They're inviting fans to interact and give their input. Bryant was a part of that in LA. It sounded awesome. I'm jealous, but I did get to talk to the coach of the St. Louis BattleHawks this week, and that's going to come up here in a little bit. And oh my goodness, the rivalry between him and Winston Moss is a real thing. I can't wait to hear what you say, for you to hear what he said whenever we talked about his rival there, Winston Moss.
Well, I hope it's nothing to the point where I will not be talking to Coach Hayes after this, because we all know I'm on Team Moss here. So whatever Team Moss says is what I do going forward.
I got to start being a little bit neutral. As much as I love Moss, I love Hayes now. I'm a big fan of Tressman, Pep. I mean, we're getting all the coaches on. I'm almost put myself in a corner, Jake. I don't know if I'm going to be like you and not have a team maybe come February, or we might be the opposite. You might pick a team, and then I might have to back off rooting to be an unbiased media observer.
Yeah, it's difficult. You're getting very close to a lot of those head coaches there, and you're going to have to break some hearts, I think. But I'm going to let you make that decision.
No one's going to blame us for being fans. I don't think so. I'm hyped up for those Wildcats because they look like, on social media especially, in that presentation like we talked about with the jerseys, that they had a good time there, and that team is all about some fun. Winston Moss has a crazy atmosphere there. Jonathan Hayes seems like he has a really, really intense and well thought out philosophy you're going to hear about. And I cannot wait to hear what you talk to Josh Johnson about, Bryant. That's going to be really good. That's all coming up here shortly. We need to tell everybody about this Patreon some more, though, because, oh my goodness, whoa, Nelly, is there a bunch of extra stuff on there that if I wasn't a part of those shows, I don't know if I'd have enough time to keep up with all those shows we're putting up on there on Patreon, Brian.
Well, don't say that, Alan, because we want people to go over there and enjoy all the content, but it is hours worth of content that you can go and check out at patreon.com/This Is the XFL Show. Alan, you mentioned the bonus episode for the month of November that you, Jake, and Vince went through. There's also great content that we always put up there just for fun, because it's times when we just have ideas and then we put them all on Patreon. So that's where it is. Don't forget our weekly This Is Not the XFL Show as well. Also, interviews like the ones you're about to hear from Coach Hayes and Josh Johnson are already up there before we actually put them out on the regular podcast. So don't forget to check that out. There's a lot of free content up there as well, so there's really no excuse for you not to go there. It's patreon.com/This Is the XFL Show.
A lot of good stuff there on Patreon. We have so much more. And oh my, look out for a rankings show. That's right, our official 1 through 8. Each of us will go through our favorite uniforms. And those arguments, those ranking shows always get heated, always entertaining, at least for us to do, hopefully for you to listen to, and check out on patreon.com/This Is the XFL Show. But if Jake is ready to power through the cover 2, it will get us closer than ever to talking about the uniforms, Jake. But we have some other things to discuss before then, if you want to get to it.
I don't want to skip the cover too, because there is important stuff in here. So yeah, let's get to it so we can get down to, what everybody came here for.
Yes.
25 seconds.
The uniforms will come soon enough. But first, the cover 2.
Going for 2.
Go for 2 and the lead.
Mini camps have begun. And what does that mean? Mini camps have begun. That means the work has begun all across the XFL. Players reporting to mini camps, becoming a team. The first time these players are getting together and doing team activities. And really some of the first things they did was witnessed the revealing of their jerseys, which I thought was a really cool way to kick things off for the players. That's kind of a bonding moment you saw a lot of these teams have, Bryant, where, they all laid eyes on what they're going to wear to battle each and every single weekend together for the first time. That made it a little bit more special the way the league did it, I thought.
Yeah, Alan, it's kind of cool because a lot of people had thought that, why are the jerseys not coming out? Why is it taking so long? Jake even himself was like, I'm waiting for jerseys. I'm waiting for jerseys. And it's nice to see that the league has a reason for waiting that long. And it's to build this team unity. They all got to see this together. They all got to interact with each other. It was kind of cool, a cool little moment for all 8 teams. Some of them doing it really cool in ways like the LA Wildcats did.
Yeah, it was basically like the opening night of mini camp for all of them. They had these dinners and the reveal, and that was cool. And then after that, the mini camps have begun. And they're essentially, Jake, I mean, I don't want to say they're underwear Olympics, but there's no contact. They're just out there doing, the strength and conditioning stuff and learning playbooks. But this is the early portions of what is the team building, the important stuff. Training camp is when the contact starts. But I mean, especially for teams that are brand new, this is a mini camp unlike any mini camp you're ever going to have again, because it's the first mini camp.
Yeah, so you're saying nobody was out there pushing the sled this time. That's going to happen in the Lone Star State.
There might have been sleds. I think I might have seen some images of sleds being pushed, but no pads with no physical contact between players. No taxi squad going against first team offense or anything. This was just, guys enrolled.
Vince's 7-on-7.
Yes, this is Vince's dream. Yeah, you're right. But mini camp is really cool because now for the next week and a half or so, these teams are going to have their mini camps, and they're all happening in phases, really, for the teams where they're going to be closed, and a lot of the strength and conditioning and early portions of just becoming a part of the team, assimilating, signing contracts, getting physicals, all that stuff that went on this week. And then they'll progress, and the media is going to be given availability. Fans will become a part of it. And they've already put out kind of the schedules for all these teams. And most, if not all of them, include chalk talks with coaches, football and ticket giveaways for fans, charity drives by the players, getting involved with the community. Oliver Luck is hitting these mini camps as well to interact with the teams and their fans. And all across the XFL, this is happening at the mini camps. So these are fan-friendly events, and they're all going to have their own unique spin. LA's in Vegas. Dallas is right now at Arlington High School, their temporary home before they go into their new stadium. And the word from Dallas, though, guys, I thought more than any other mini camp this week was just the most, if you're an XFL fan, or especially a Dallas Renegades fan, was kind of made you have a slight sigh of relief, because Bob Stoops was there. After weeks of speculation and, a lot of hearsay when it comes to open college football jobs, particularly in Florida State, Bob Stoops was indeed there coaching his Dallas Renegades and gave a few quotes to the media. One that really pleased me, Bryant, where he said, "People say a lot of things that aren't true, so I'm used to that," in reference to the Florida State job. And he had a lot of cool things to say about his team, basically saying that he's got a lot of good athletes there. He's treating them all like fifth-year seniors, and he's going to, work with well-conditioned athletes who know what they're doing, and he's looking to help them improve his players, and he's looking to scratch that itch in coaching again in the XFL.
Yeah, it's so cool to actually start. Like, this is the pre-season. I forget what we actually decided to call it, but to get this ball rolling is so cool, because you have like the media scrums, and you're talking to coaches about certain things and asking them questions. So it's really cool to have Bob Stoops, talk football and talk about strategies and how he feels and what he's thinking about actually being back on the field. I asked Norm Chow the same question during summer showcases, right? These coaches are now, this is kind of what they're waiting for. Later, when we talked to Josh Johnson, he talks about anticipation. I told him, man, we've been doing this show for 99 episodes. Of course, anticipation is something that we're looking forward to too. So it's kind of cool to see that actually start rolling out with some of these coaches.
So, Jake, I know Vince isn't here, and he's the one who always says, I can't believe Bob Stoops is coaching in this league still every week. But I think now more than ever, it seems that Bob Stoops is a coach in the XFL. He was there wearing a visor, coaching his team.
Yeah, you're right. I always expected this. I don't think he was going to bail. I mean, did you any of you guys legitimately think he was going to bail for Tallahassee?
I mean, when it comes to college, the college football and the way these universities can lure a coach, I never say never. I will say there were some nerves there, but it looks like Bob Stoops is here for the Dallas Renegades, and either way, I think we all can agree, Jake. No matter what, that team down there is ready to raise hell.
Yeah, you got that for sure. The visor is there. Hopefully, those players are just they could be starstruck right now, but whenever it gets time, they get down to business. It's like Red Foreman says, it's called work. It's not super wonderful, crazy fun time.
The mini camp is exactly that. That is exactly what I'd be preaching at these mini camps, Jake. I love that. That's exactly true. And actually, you might, if you look at the Tampa Bay Vipers and what came out of their camp this week, you might think that place is not only a place where they're doing work, but they are actually like battling already because Mark Trestman told the media after minicamps open that all positions basically are up for grabs. That is an intense atmosphere you're cultivating when you say something like that as a head coach, Brian.
No, yeah, but we also expected all the coaches to say that. They're not going to say that half the positions are already accounted for on 2 days worth of minicamp. So it is a position that we expect all the coaches to take. Although I do think that Trestman means it, because I think he's evaluating every single player, including number pick 70.
Hey, all the way down to pick 70. Let's go to the Seattle, where arguably maybe the most accomplished and best player in this league, I would, for a lot of people's money, Keenan Reynolds, who is an all-time Navy great. He claimed that Jim Zorn's playbook looks very familiar to the playbook he had with the Seahawks this past summer. And, he got cut from that team and went back to work in the Navy Reserves, Jake, but he's back up in Seattle and things are familiar for him there. So that's kind of interesting when he says that. You wonder, will the XFL Seattle franchise, the Seattle Dragons, look similar to what they're doing with the Seahawks? I can't imagine.
It's football, Alan. I mean, maybe the football similarities in general are just going to be there, but I can't imagine. Jim Zorn had nothing to do with the Seahawks this last season, right?
No, that's what I'm interested to see why Keenan Reynolds would say something
maybe he
like
saw
that.
lines with arrows, X's, and O's and thought this was the same playbook. I can't imagine why the playbook's exactly the same, but it is football, so maybe there are some similarities there in general.
Yeah, that's a interesting quote from one of the players there at the Dragons, who have, as of right now, my favorite helmet, I'm going to say. But that might change by the time we get to uniforms. What about the word from Vegas, Bryant? The LA Wildcats are there. Coach Moss said, quote, "They got changed and dressed as quick as I've ever seen a team transition from street clothes to workout gear. I'm very pleased with their attitude." I mean, that's something you heard around the league, how these players were just like so geeked to just get out there and even exercise because they just want to get on football fields, a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and our interview with Josh Johnson, you're going to hear a little bit, is a testament to exactly that, and how these players are dedicated and want this more than anything. I think the passion behind some of these players is just incredible and pretty much outstanding, Alan, too. They also kind of word out of Vegas, if you didn't see it on Twitter, is they're going to have a big fan event on Sunday, December 15th. So make sure if you're out there or you want to go out there, go check that out. A lot of details. They're also doing this cool giveaway for a paid trip there. So they're, again, engaging the fans wherever possible. So go check out their Twitter to get more information on that. But I will be there next weekend for their mini camp. So say hi if you are as well.
And never has anybody seen a team so eager to do jumping jacks and toe touches as these Wildcats.
Well, the thing is, these last weekends of the mini camps, they're all across the league. They're doing cool stuff for the fans. Like in New York, this is maybe my favorite. On December 14th, it's a fans' day. Fans come to practice day, and it's at West Point at the military academy, Jake. I don't know if you've ever been there or seen it, but I've gone actually hiking across the Hudson from it and looked across It is so beautiful. It looks like the coolest place to go watch a practice even. And also all the stuff that's going to be going on. I believe Oliver Luck's there that weekend. New York will be practicing December 14th. The Guardians at West Point Military Academy. That's definitely worth the trip, I would say. In Houston, where training camp will be held and starting on January 4th, they started on Thursday, and I'm telling you, I'm waiting for the first word. There's nothing yet, but I just cannot wait to hear what people are saying about the quarterback situation there. Phillip Walker, Connor Cook, something we've talked a lot about on this show. And actually, Bryant, this past week, I was walking around the Pitt campus here, University of Pittsburgh, and this kid was wearing my XFL hat, and this college kid said, hey, the XFL, I'm excited for it. Phillip Walker's going to be the MVP of that league. Straight up told me that. And I said, I could see it because he's going to be June Jones's quarterback if he could beat Connor Cook. If he could beat Connor Cook.
I thought you were going to say Chad Kelly for sure. But okay,
no.
I missed your answer.
That Chad Kelly's still got some issues to deal with, and he's still on the Colts, don't forget. So
that's pretty cool. That's kind of cool. I wear my hat around town as well too, Jake. I don't know if you do, but it's pretty nice when people recognize and want to have a conversation. I was trying to work the other day. I was at a warehouse trying to fix some computers, and one of the workers there wouldn't stop talking to me about the XFL. I was like, this is a lot of fun, man, but I got to fix a computer.
Yeah. I wear it around town. I still have people, asking me where I got it and just, unsure about, the league coming back. So, a lot of people asking about it, at least in these parts. And it sounds like for you too.
It's a fun conversation starter. And that was cool to see someone call that out for the Houston situation. Over in DC, the hype is real. If you go to XFL.com or just the Defenders Twitter, there's a really funny, awesome, really cool video of Pep Hamilton doing drills with his players. Remember, he was on this show talking about how fast his team was and how he couldn't wait to get them out there to see their speed and how their energy. He was kind of feeding that to them with his own. He's out there, doing everything they were doing on the field for the first part of minicamp. And then I just saw the just most intimidating, I'm going to say it, picture of two quarterbacks I've seen so far. Tyree Jackson and Cardale Jones just standing there in their jerseys. Something about that made me just say, man, they've got two legit QBs in DC that I would want either of them starting for my team. Maybe, Bryant, we've said trades will happen eventually. I could see Tyree Jackson putting it out there as trade bait somewhere down the road.
We talked to some people at the league offices where we thought that that their strategy would be to draft as many QBs as you can and use them as trade bait later on. So definitely expect that. But you're right, Alan. Two legit quarterbacks out there that I think I ranked DC's quarterback situation number one behind. Maybe number two behind Houston, but still number one, pretty close there with Tyree Jackson and Cardale Jones.
And then the word from St. Louis, we're going to get a lot more from the BattleHawks camp, but they started in Earth City there in Missouri at Rams Park, formerly known as Rams Park. It's now BattleHawks Park, and it is where they will be holding their mini camps. Coach Jonathan Hayes has a big quarterback room, 3 legit QBs. I could see any one of them starting. We'll get into some of that here in just a moment with our good crisp interview. But Jake, what do you think about the BattleHawks taking over all the Rams' old stomping grounds, even their practice facility?
I think it's theirs now. I think, they should be standing outside saying, this is our house now.
Yes.
And it is, unless somebody wants to take them up on it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And that's the word from the mini camps all around the league. So much happening as we speak, and we're going to try to keep tabs on it all. This is now where it's going to get to the point where we're going to just have to pick out the best parts for the show because there's going to be so much information coming in. And probably 2 shows, maybe multiple shows. The feed is getting hungry. Our podcast feed is getting, and it's going to want a lot more. So be on the lookout. But with mini camps underway, the cool thing I noticed, especially though, my favorite thing about it all is that if you just Google now any team's mini camp, all the local media in all the markets, newspapers, radio, TV, everybody's covering these mini camps all across the league in all 8 cities. Bryant, that's a beautiful thing to see.
Alan, I will say this: many moons ago, when the XFL was first, still an infant, you said to me, and I'll never forget these words because I said I was going to use them on the show one day. I cannot wait for the day where wrestling websites aren't the ones reporting on the XFL, and it's like we've slowly gone away from that, and now it's like full-fledged local media, local markets, local news stations, all talking about these XFL teams. This really is a beautiful sight to see, something that we waited so long to get to, but now it just seems like a normal way of life.
And not to mention ESPN and Fox both, covering it all as well. We saw Pat McAfee doing some cool stuff on social media with testing out the XFL football. And that is, in terms of the media, just going to help the league grow even more in terms of visibility. And we've talked about that a whole lot, and you're seeing it exponentially grow each and every single week in terms of coverage. All right, let's go for part 2 of our cover 2 this week and do a bunch of news and notes. Quick look at the upcoming league schedule as well. Camps will end the 18th and 19th. They are underway, these mini camps. So the weekend before the holidays, they're going to the league will take off. All the teams will reconvene in Houston January 4th through the 22nd. Full contact. That's the preseason, baby. That's going to be going down January 4th. And in the meantime and in between time, teams are now out there putting playbooks in and developing their players and, doing all the things the football teams do and signing free agents. The Defenders signed one this week. Former quarterback from Georgia Tech and JMU, Vad Lee, who I believe was at the DC Summer Showcase, if I'm not mistaken, Brian, signed as a free agent with the Defenders, so he'll be joining Tyree Jackson and Cardale Jones in that quarterback room.
Yeah, more talent, Alan. We're still not to January, so I'm not going to give you your props yet. But you said that these rooms will continue to evolve as players either do not participate in camps or no longer available for camps. The XFL is going to have this revolving door of more and more players signing. So always stay on the lookout for those types of announcements on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever it is that they put them out.
Players signing and also players going maybe to the NFL or, in this case, retiring. Ryan Broyles, who we all said, wow, good pickup there late by the Renegades, former Oklahoma standout when he retired, when he left the NCAA and went to the NFL. Ryan Broyles, I believe, had the most receptions ever. So pretty special player. Had some injuries though in the NFL, fell out of it, and then was going to get back into the XFL. But according to a tweet from Joe Hoyt of the Dallas Morning News, Ryan Broyles will not be joining the Renegades in camp or at all. He's retiring from the sport of football. And this actually does not come as a surprise because as I was diving more into this, Jake, I was saying, why would such a prominent player, a guy who's going to play with a bunch of his former Sooner buddies, not want to be a part of this? Ryan Broyles, super successful real estate career after NFL injury sidelined him. The guy invested a bunch of money and he runs and owns a bunch of properties all over Oklahoma and other places. And this guy's doing pretty well. So when you look at that, it's not hard to believe, but still unfortunate the Renegades are losing one of their wideouts.
Yeah, but there is a lot of money to be made in, strip malls if you're doing it the right way. Plus, who wouldn't want to wake up and not have their knees hurting, their shoulders hurting, their backs hurting, their necks hurting? So, whatever this individual wants to do.
Yep. So Ryan Broyles, the Renegades, if he does decide to come back, we'll have the first right of refusal to potentially bring him back in the fold. But we'll see how that develops. But just another instance of, the preseason is underway, and as in any preseason, any professional league, players will come and go. Rosters are being carved out, literally. Players are being added and removed and leaving, and the teams are forming identities as we speak. And it's super fascinating to watch, especially because it's a startup league. Anyway, rounding out the cover too, Bryant, you said you've got a special tweet to discuss before we finish up here.
Yeah, it's something new that I brought up on, and I put it out there on Twitter, and I just wanted to bring it up because someone did respond with something kind of interesting that we haven't talked about in a long time, so I just wanted to bring it up. I did ask everybody out there on Twitter at XFL Show, with episode 99 is upon us, what are some topics you want us to cover this week, just to get it out there. And someone did bring up, are they going to make an XFL app? And I know we haven't talked about it in a while. We said it might have been something that they really wanted. There hasn't been any talk about it now. Is it even necessary at this point?
It's as a football league that is way down on the list, I think, when it comes to priorities. This isn't a tech company like some other spring football leagues, right? This is a football league, so you worry about the football first, and that sort of stuff comes later. Ideally, you have an app, but if the resources or the time and energy just can't be put into that direction just yet, I don't think it's detrimental because, oh yeah, these games are going to be on ESPN, Fox, and ABC, so that's going to go a long way.
That's exactly what I was going for. Jake, how do you feel that you don't have to open an app on your phone and stream it to a device?
Well, yeah, of course, for watching it, nobody really wants to be using. Well, I mean, there are good apps on your TV, but if you have the big television deals like this, of course you don't need one. But I mean, I don't know. I remember you both talking about, being able to see up to the second stats, biometrics on the apps, betting on the apps, fantasy on the apps. So, I mean, is that something? Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that's something that you guys were talking about that would interest you.
I want fantasy for sure, but that can come with a partner. I don't know if you team up with DraftKings or Yahoo or whomever. I mean, you're on ESPN, so maybe that platform, fantasy-wise, can be of service to you. Maybe you can work out an agreement there. I don't know. But you don't need your own app to do that. I don't think the NFL had their own fantasy games for a long while until, they started getting into the digital game. And that's something you could, I guess, get a third party or a partner to help you provide in terms of the fantasy game, in terms of betting as well. The only reason I would really want an app is, to just have a one-stop place people on their mobile devices could go and check out their teams' rosters and buy tickets and buy merchandise. That's why you would want an app, is basically putting your website into an app, but telling people go to XFL.com, I think is fine for now, Jake, but I definitely am concerned about, fantasy and betting being offered to fans in some sort of form or fashion.
You're right, Alan. I couldn't remember the last time I opened the NFL app, to be honest with you. So I don't know how much and how high of a priority that really is. But I just wanted to bring that out. There was a tweet from Rich04Real on Twitter. So thank you, Rich, for taking the time to tweet at us to just have this mini discussion really quick on an XFL app.
Oh yeah, that's a discussion. You want to talk digital? What was his name? Rich. Rich. You want to talk digital, Rich? I could talk digital all day long on an episode, so that might be a bonus show or something on the feed coming up shortly. But yeah, we keep our eye on that stuff for sure. The XFL is putting out cool content on XFL.com, and the jerseys and the merch and all that's there too. So you're able to do that, and that's what's important for now. But we all know fans are clamoring for in-season stuff, and that in February hopefully will come. All right. Jake, did you know that right now, as of this moment, we are closer than ever to discussing uniforms?
Let's just get to it.
Not quite yet, because at the final hour before we all got together to talk about uniforms, Bryant and I, with our persistence, and also because the league is so kind to us and all the teams are so awesome to us, we scored not one, but two awesome conversations, interviews, guests for this week's Good Crisp interview segment. And Brian, I don't know if you want to rock, paper, scissors first, or you know what? How about I give you the floor first, because I'm greedy and want to hear what you talked to Josh Johnson about.
Sure. I'll hit the ground running first, Alan. I really just wanted to talk to Josh about, and he was so gracious with his time coming back from minicamp. I really just wanted to talk to him about why he chose the XFL over other opportunities that may be in front of him. There's a lot of news the last week or so about why and why he chose the XFL, and if the NFL came a calling, what he was going to do. So it was really cool to get into that conversation. We talked about how minicamp was. We talked about how Coach Moss was as well. A lot of information. So we'll recap it very slightly when we come back here, but take a listen. A lot of good information, a good perspective from from an NFL QB that's going to be part of the XFL.
Yeah, he's got the experience. He's been coveted this season in that league, and he is now with the LA Wildcats at minicamp in Vegas. Here it is, part one of our good, crisp interview this week. Josh Johnson, quarterback from the Los Angeles Wildcats.
Good, crisp football.
Hey, football fans, Brian here with Los Angeles Wildcats quarterback Josh Johnson. Josh, welcome to This is the XFL show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, man. So right out of the gate, I'm just going to ask you, what made you decide to join the XFL?
It's a great opportunity. I mean, for a guy like in my situation, where people try to write off based on your limited opportunities, you know, they try to put you in a box because of your age and not really look at your ability. And, you know, this is that opportunity where for guys like myself who just need that right opportunity to, you know, showcase themselves the right way and under the right situation. And I think that's what this is bringing for a guy like me. So I think it makes sense, and that's why I'm here.
Perfect. And you talk about that opportunity. Let me ask you this. How do you weigh that opportunity with playing in the XFL to perhaps, you know, being signed by an NFL team throughout the season or something like that? Like, how did you weigh those two options and come to this decision to join the XFL?
Obviously, the play style will be same. It's pro football schemes. We got NFL coaches. Our NFL coach's resume here in LA speaks for itself. The amount of experience these guys have. And then, you know, when you just putting that on national TV weekly, I mean, I think the football experts and analysts, I mean, if they cover football, they're going to be looking at us and see who's there. I mean, look at what happened in the other league last year. A lot of those guys got signed. Because, I mean, you just see once you get a guy, you can actually see him playing. That's how you can really evaluate. A lot of guys, we don't get seen because you don't play. You just bounce around and be on the roster. You do practice squad or you're a backup, so you don't really have a lot of exposure. You just get that opportunity in preseason, which is maybe a quarter, to really try to make a career out of something for yourself. And this is something that's different. After college, you know, you get 10 games. We looking to have 12 out here. And then it's on national TV, and then it's the X's and O's. It's pro-style X's and O's. So if you really legit, I think it'll speak for itself.
Yeah, man, that's well said. Josh, you're one of the few assigned QBs, so tell me, how excited are you to be a part of one of the largest markets in the XFL with the LA Wildcats?
I'm really excited, man, to be back in Southern California. I haven't played down in that area since college. And then me being from Oakland, now I get to, you know, that's only a quick 4-hour drive or an hour flight for a lot of my family and friends. So I think they're excited about the opportunity to get to see it. And then we are, like you said, I mean, we're in Hollywood, so, you know, you can make a name for yourself out there. I'm not really tripping off that. I'm care to play football, but I'm looking for us to do big things. And if we do big things, I think Hollywood will take care of the rest for us, and then we'll be on the scene. And it's just us just keep, you know, doing our part on the football field.
For sure, man. Well, we're having this interview a few days into minicamp. Tell me, how's it been so far, down in Las Vegas?
Well, it's been real. Coach, we've been grinding out here. I don't know about everybody else, but we didn't ease into this thing. We came out here to work, and we putting that work in. I mean, we trying to really do something out here. That's been a tone that's been set. That's been a tone that we've been taking every day. And our body's sore, but it's a good soreness because that means we get better. And so that's what our main focus is keep winning the day and stacking on these days. And then when it comes time in February to go, we're going to be ready to go.
That sounds incredible, Josh, but I'm not sure if your career path has ever crossed with that of the Wildcats head coach Winston Moss before, but I mean, we've had a few chances to hang out and speak with him. He's been a guest on our show before. How's it been working with him so far?
Oh, Coach Moss is intense, man. So he brings it every day. He's a straight shooter, which I like. He's real, keep it solid. And, you know, he all about football. He all about football. And he allows every guy in this locker room to be themselves. He creates a fun environment for us. But it's a competitive environment. He's challenging us every day. And, you know, based on my experience now as a football player that I've been playing for a long time, I think he's doing his part to create that right recipe for us to go out here and be successful. So we just got to, you know, everybody got to buy in, and like we all doing right now, and just, you know, take it one day at a time.
Yeah, he just seems like the perfect guy to like play for, right, and play with. He's been a character every time I've seen him. He just seems like a great guy to play for sure.
Most definitely. I mean, his experience being not only a coach but a player, it helps, you know, because he understands. He gets it. He understands what guys go through, and he understands what we need to do to bring it. And we'll, you know, and I think we all on the same page on what we're trying to get done. So nobody's complaining about nothing. We all just here working.
Well, the XFL this time around is approaching this inaugural season a little different than most spring leagues in the past, going by the model of it's football, but it's different. Before we talk about some of the on-field changes that they're making, they made some huge strides this past week, with the new football and these pretty cool-looking jerseys. What do you think about the aesthetics that the XFL is putting in place to feel a bit different than other professional leagues?
I think based on the situation of them trying to, it's the first season, and obviously it's just like a startup business. I think they're providing us with the best things possible for us to go out here and put a great product on the field. Our uniforms is, like I say in my opening terms, they smack it, they wet. I was really excited to see them. I know I'm gonna make mine. I'm gonna make that number 8 look real good, and you could tell just everything. The new helmets, the jerseys is A1. So I think they doing the best they can to present us on the field the right way. Considering this is a startup and it's nothing really mapped out and everything is we got to build this thing out as we go. So far, I don't have no complaints. You feel me? And everything has been smooth, and we here to be able to do what we do best without any other distractions, and that's a plaudits to them because you can tell they really mapped this thing out and got it organized the best to their ability.
Yeah, man, they're doing a lot off the field, but soon the XFL rulebook will be out and fans will get a glimpse into what to expect on the field. Without divulging too much, how do you feel about the change in pace the XFL is going for with this shorter play clock that we keep hearing about?
It's going to be interesting because I'm used to getting in the huddle and having 40 seconds and really sometimes you have too much time. So I think it's going to obviously pick up the tempo of the game, and that as an offensive player, I think that helps us. That plays into our advantage. But we'll see. I really honestly don't know. That part will be new for me. But we're doing a good job with the time we have been here so far of ironing out the details every day. Everybody's been open about asking questions and really trying, and also implementing different strategies. It's not all just about the quarterbacks and the coaches. The linemen might have an opinion, the receivers might have an opinion, the running backs. And as we keep continuing to get these rules, I think as athletes will adjust and we'll be fine. Well, people have already done it before. I think we'll be fine too.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds good. It's kind of a great way to approach it. Both sides of the ball have to adapt to any rules that are put in place, right? It's not just offense. It's not just defense. People just got to play football.
Right, and they already tested it in the spring league. So I'm pretty sure they ironed out things from a rule standpoint as well. And then it's just our job as players, to get on the same page with our coaches about what we feel would be most effective for us. And I'm pretty sure that'll vary from team to team. But I think right now nobody's stressing it. It's more of an anticipation thing than actual worry about it,
Yeah, trust me, I know, man. We've been 99 episodes of this show have been happening. We can't wait till kickoff. So I'm with you on that anticipation thing for sure. Everyone, I'm here with LA Wildcats QB Josh Johnson. The Wildcats kick off their season on the road in Houston Saturday, February 8th, but the home opener is Sunday, February 16th at Dignity Health Sports Park. Get your tickets today at XFLWildcats.com. Josh, good luck during minicamp, training camp, and all the way through the season, man. I'm sure we'll be talking to you some more soon.
Thank you. And one note to, all potential fans, the affordable prices of the tickets, I think that's huge. The fact that you can come to a game for $20, that's uncommon. A lot of people don't get to experience that. So I think it makes it an opportunity for everybody to come out and really experience this. And it's going to be some real football. So don't knock it before you try it, because I know people tend to knock things because it's new. But I would say don't knock it before you try it for all these fans out here.
See, that's the kind of stuff I love, man, because I wasn't even ask you about the tickets, and when in NFL or any other work, do you hear players talking about tickets, come on down, because it is an affordable package. It's going to be quite of an experience out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, as an NFL player, you get 2 comp tickets, and if you got to buy 10 others, that hits your pocket. If I got to buy, $20 tickets, I never bought one. Never had one. So I think that's realistic. A lot of people spend $20 at the corner store on chips and candy. So just put things in perspective. I think it's a good opportunity to come see some football, and it's in LA. Weather will be good. Dignity Health is a beautiful stadium, so come out and try it.
For sure, man.
I think you will be happy.
Yeah, everyone, listen to Josh. Get your tickets today. Go watch him throw that football around Dignity Health Sports Park. Thank you again for your time today. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
All right, boss. Thanks for having me.
where football goes to be reborn. Where football goes to be reimagined. Where one goes to find more of what they need. A place with endless possibilities and hidden gems. A place where only one's limitations determine how much is explored. A place that gives you all the football you can handle and more. This is the XFL Show's Patreon, guiding you to February 2020.
So let me ask you guys: do you spend $20 on chips and candy at the local corner store, as like he does, like he says? Because you can get a ticket for that same price. Is what he gets into.
for chips and candy. Yeah, I just thought about that. Yeah, I mean, on one of those long study nights where I'm looking for a lot of good content to put into an episode. Yeah, I might go at the corner store. They were called bodegas when I was out in New York, Bryant. But that's super cool. Josh Johnson joining the LA Wildcats, and I mean, really candid. You got it out of him. He gave us the tea, as the cool kids say.
Yeah, pretty much. He said that, as a practice squad member, you have one chance, one quarter in a preseason to make a career, and sometimes that's just not enough. So the XFL's giving him that opportunity.
It just makes sense. I love that perspective. Playing time, PT, is what it's all about, Jake.
Yeah, I think the linguist Marshall Mathers said something similar to that. Also,
he did. And
what was that? You got one chance to
one shot, one moment. The moment you lose it and all that, mom's spaghetti. Why risk throwing up mom's spaghetti that one time in a preseason game when you could play an entire season in the XFL?
And if I'm bringing up a rap reference on this show, it's something important.
Absolutely, and that's you know what, Bryant. That's a situation to watch at quarterback in LA with Luis Perez and Josh Johnson. I wouldn't want to have to make that decision.
Talk about trade bait too. Oh man, this is gonna be a great competition. We had both of them on this show. Luis Perez was, I think, one of our first good Chris interviews. So yeah, there's a situation brewing in Vegas and then Long Beach when they come back. In Houston when they go to training camp. So. But again, Josh Johnson, thank you so much for his time and giving us just a candid interview as to why he chose the path that he did.
Beautiful, beautiful. That was a beauty. And that was part one of our good, crisp interviews this week. That's right, plural. We've got two of them. Jake, we are closer than ever to discussing these uniforms, but we have to hear from one of the head coach general managers now in the league. I'm sorry, but you want to hear about the BattleHawks, don't you?
Anytime we have a chance to speak to a head coach, it's worth listening to.
Absolutely. And this one, it's worth it for sure, because Jonathan Hayes is a coach who's getting a huge opportunity, unlike some of the other coaches in this league, hasn't had just yet. And he is going at it with a ton of experience and enthusiasm. And I think a really good mindset that we're going to hear all about right here in part two. Good, crisp interview with St. Louis BattleHawks head coach, general manager, Jonathan Hayes.
Good, crisp football.
Hello, Coach Hayes. How's minicamp been?
Well, we're just in phase one right now, but it's been great. It's good to get back on the field. It's good having the guys in the facility. It's good being back working.
Absolutely. I know a lot of those players have been chomping at the bit to get out there on the field, even for a mini camp, no contact or anything, but I'm sure there are a lot of smiles on the field as you guys got underway there in St. Louis.
Oh, without a doubt. And, since it's mostly walkthrough right now, we're still trying to slow them down, make them know that, hey, it's not full speed quite yet. We're just trying to get your assignments down and get you ready to play.
Exactly. Yeah. Just the team building portion has begun. Everybody's getting to know each other, and it's been an awesome week for that. Mini camps, not only that, but I mean the uniform reveal was really cool. How fun was that to have that as a team event where everybody was in the room seeing those jerseys for the first time?
It was great until the lights went off, and then the guys had a hard time seeing. Half the guys had a hard time seeing it, so we had to put them over in the other side of the room where the lights were on.
Well, when they got revealed, they were some beauties. We're breaking down the jerseys all week long on the show, and I got to say that helmet you guys are going to be rocking, especially, is absolutely gorgeous. I'm a big fan.
Well, thanks. I am too. When they first announced the names, and then everything about the BattleHawks, and when as a pro player playing at Kansas City, my nickname became Hawkeye, and then they shortened it to Hawk, and then all of a sudden I became the head coach here in St. Louis, and we became the BattleHawks, so we felt like it was a really good omen.
Oh, absolutely. I like that. I did not know that, Coach. So it's fitting that you're the head man in charge there of the St. Louis BattleHawks, and you're putting it all together from scratch. How fun has that been, the process of drafting, scouting, hiring your staff? That's a lot, but you've got to be enjoying that.
It's been awesome. And I tell you what, having great people around you make this such a good great opportunity, and it just makes it so enjoyable to come to work every day and working with people that you really believe in and trust and want to continue to grow with. And a lot of the people here I have wonderful friendships with, and one of them, I've known since I was a baby because he's my older brother.
Yep, that was my next question. It's got to be pretty cool coaching with your brother, and a lot of your staff is very experienced with Tim Lewis on the staff, and you've got ex-players like Azahir Hakeem. I mean, you've got quite the team there helping you put this thing together, don't you?
Yeah, I got two guys that have been head coaches. Timmy was a head coach last year in the Alliance League, and Chuck Long, who's on my staff, was a head coach at San Diego State, and, hiring Matt and Race and Doug Meacham and my brother Jay. And I mean, there's a lot of experience on this staff, and we got a good mix of young guys too, with Chris Crocker and Ozzie King and Brian Braswell and Grant Williams. So it's a really good mixture of people, and Timmy and Chuck and Jay, they all been guys I can lean on and ask for advice. And needless to say, I still call Coach Lewis Marvin Lewis just to bounce things off him too. So.
Yeah, I was actually you're taking all my questions in a row, Coach, because that was where I was going to go to next, because this is such a brand new endeavor for you, but you were a part of a very consistent football program with Marvin Lewis, and I was wondering how much that program in Cincinnati has influenced your approach towards balancing your roles as head coach and general manager.
The one thing I learned from Coach Lewis was to make sure everyone understood that we were all in lockstep. And, Marvin every morning would go upstairs and sit down with the owner and tell him our plan, what we were trying to do, how we were trying to do it, so that we could, they would understand what it was we were trying to do. And needless to say, the one thing we built there was consistency and continuity for the most part, which allowed us success. Now, the other things that you have to be able to do when you're in Cincinnati, you have to wear more than one hat. As a coach, we did a ton of scouting and evaluation of players, which allowed me the good fortune, coming from college, you do the same thing, and allowed me the good fortune to really work out a bunch of guys all the time. And, a lot of my peers would always call me and ask me about this player I went and worked out, or that player. And being in in Cincinnati, we didn't just work out our own position. We had to watch the other people's guys' positions too, and sometimes we had to work them out. And as a tight ends coach and been a special teams coordinator when I was in college and coaching the offensive line, I did quite a bit of that also. And I even did some at some other places. I've done defensive line drills. So, you know, working working in Cincinnati gave you a great opportunity to really challenge yourself and think outside the box and really have to go outside the box to just see players.
Yeah, and that I'm sure really helped you in the the scouting process and that jumbo draft that we went through back in October, and in terms of determining which kind of players you wanted to go after and who you thought would fit your team. And you really, Coach, I mean, we were breaking down the draft afterwards on the show, and I absolutely love what you did in the draft and starting at the quarterback position. Now you've got, since the draft, you have a really solid 3-man room there that everybody's talking about with Jordan Ta'amu and Taylor Heineke and Brogan Roback. But specifically the youngster and Jordan Ta'amu, he gives you youth and potential at quarterback, unlike any other team has in the league, at least on paper. What do you expect from the former Ole Miss quarterback?
The good thing about Jordan is he's very athletic. He's got good arm talent. And now we're just going to try to help him develop that and grow and build that and continue to create a better throwing platform for him so that, you know, he can make all the throws. We got to continue to make sure he has all those tools to put in his toolkit. And the great thing is about this draft, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, lucky for me, my DPP, Trey Brown, was been by my side through this whole thing, along with Jeff Bauer and Richard Shelton. Those guys, I couldn't have got through it without those guys. They've done an excellent job of evaluation, of reaching out to so many of these guys to make sure they were still going to be involved and still wanted to play, and just getting their background and the things you need to know going into these things, you know, because for us, normally in pro sports, you have a whole year to gather all that information, you know. We started this venture back in June, and I mean, we hit the ground running, and to those guys' credit, they did a wonderful job. And then along with our trainers that I got on board with Greg and Chris, they also did a great job of getting their information, the history, injury histories on players, so that we could really do a good job of evaluating these guys.
And you have a serious array of defensive talent as well, Coach. I mean, from Terrence Garvin and Will Hill and then Kenny Robinson, you land in that draft. I mean, when you were done with the draft, I looked at your roster and said, wow, how do they get all these guys? I was shocked that some of those players weren't taken by other teams, but you have quite the defense, at least on paper, in terms of players with experience and potential.
Well, you know, the one thing about pro athletics is, you know, you've been following it for a long time. The key to pro athletics is not how much talent you can accumulate. It's how much talent you can accumulate and create great chemistry with so that you can be successful.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what's going on at mini camp right now, I'm sure. And then in training camp, when you get there in Houston, Coach, it's going to be a lot of fun as you build your team. And, you know, among the league now, we're looking at the competition beginning pretty much right now. I know BattleHawks, your team Twitter account, has had a lot of fun circling dates on the calendar for big matchups you're looking forward to. And we even heard Coach Moss call you out when he was introduced as the coach in LA. Do you feel that sense of competition among the other coaches already?
Well, you know, the reason Coach Moss had to call me out is because he was complaining about us whooping their butts so many times when he was at Oakland and I was in Kansas City. I can't help that. It is what it is. It wasn't like I was bragging about it. He's the one that was complaining about it.
Yeah, I feel like he might be holding that grudge waiting to face you guys later in the middle of the season. We're looking forward to that one big time, at least amongst us here on the show. We talk about what St. Louis and LA are going to do against each other, but also when you take the field against a lot of experienced head coaches in this league, a lot of experienced front office people. This is going to be a high-level football league with new rules that we've been talking about. We're waiting for that rule book to officially come out, but we know that the coaches at least know what to expect, and we know for sure we're going to see a faster game, a faster play clock. And I want to know, how does that affect you as a play caller, knowing that you're going to really have to be on the ball and have players in great condition, being alert with what we're hearing is a 25-second play clock?
Well, but here's the thing: you can't. Yes, you have to be aware of your time. I think there's a way of still being aware of your time, getting players in and out of the game, and allowing yourself to still be true to who you really want to be offensively, defensively, and on special teams. You just have to make sure that you rehearse it over and over and over again with the players, so that when it does come for the game to really start, it's still going to take time for the ball spotter to come out and spot the ball. It's still going to, all those things come into play. I mean, if you have a big play, for example, now all of a sudden, the ball spotter still has to travel a good distance to get there also. So it still takes time. And so I truly believe that, we're in good shape and we'll be ready to handle it. I know that it'll be a quicker paced game than people are accustomed to in some senses, but it'll be very similar to probably a mixture of a little bit of the college game. And when you watch pro game and people are going no huddle and trying to just speed up and get more plays in.
It's going to be exciting. I cannot wait for that rulebook to officially come out, but I can't wait to see the quality of the play, the pace of the play. We know these players are going to be in great condition because you're getting them ready right now in mini camps, training camps on January 4th in Houston, Coach. And then you are going to be putting a football team out there for the city of St. Louis come February, which is awesome because they are the only team in the XFL that is without an NFL team in that same city. So does your situation there being in St. Louis make it more significant in terms of, I don't know, what fans are expecting, or at least the attention that you're drawing within your city? Do you feel like you have a duty to the crowd there in St. Louis to give them some good football?
Well, of course, you have a duty to the city to create a product that they want to be proud of. If we're going to become part of this community and stand apart from others, we have to truly create a way to continue to grow and win games and be productive and get better each week. And the only way you can do that is by winning. Let's be honest. That's the reason why we're doing these things.
And it all starts right now, Coach. Well, I'm gonna let you get back to planning for the rest of the mini camp. We look forward to talking to you sometime down the road. It's been a pleasure discussing everything going on with the St. Louis BattleHawks with you, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
There you have it, Bryant, the head coach of your rival BattleHawks, who said it's not his fault the Chiefs were just beating up on the Raiders when your coach Moss was out there. I'm not trying to stir the pot here. I'm just reiterating what Coach said there.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. He's not going to be coaching like a crazy man. I'll tell you that much. But he is an intense individual, a very determined individual, and I appreciate his time as well. You're right, Alan. Don't steer the pot here. They're both great individuals, and it looks like Coach Moss and Coach Hayes, man, that's going to be a nice little battle to watch as the season progresses.
I will
Because
be
to one team,
coaching like a crazy man.
To one team, it's personal. To the other one, it's just business. It's going to be a great battle all season long.
Yeah, those are those are not, division rivals or anything. They're going to be playing once this season, but I can't wait for that game already. And also, I mean, I tried to get Coach to gush kind of about his roster there, but that's what I love about it is his mentality going into it. He has to know. We've talked about the BattleHawks roster in terms of experience, exposure. A lot of these players have had, and proof on tape that they have players who could go, especially on defense. Coach Hayes, as I kind of hyped them up, didn't really take to it, Jake. He said building a team is all about, building that connection between each other and going out and succeeding together. It's not about who's good or who has the experience or, being a paper champion, essentially. It's about going out there and executing, and that's kind of what they're putting together in mini camps right now. I cannot stress enough how important this moment in time is for all these players in the league as they learn their playbooks.
Well, yeah, if you don't know the playbook, you don't got much. You got to, I'm not saying they're going to be doing a lot of, trust exercise or falling backwards into each other's arms like summer camp or anything. But clearly this is where it starts. You're going to take it to the next level in Houston. And then in how many weeks? 9 weeks?
9 weeks!
9 weeks, they're going to be out there on the field.
Can't believe it's that close. That's just 2 months. It's essentially 2 months, isn't it, Brian? According to math.
According to calendar, it is about...
At least in the Gregorian calendar. It is.
A little over 2 months to go. But, man, what a show. I'm so glad we were able to talk about all of that. I can't wait. Let's get out of here and let's get to episode 100.
Not quite.
Wait a second.
Yeah. Are you trying to avoid hearing Jake give his analysis that he's been waiting 99 episodes plus some bonus content as well to finally give? And I mean, this is it. This is his time. Jake has been waiting for it. Jake, are you finally ready to talk XFL uniforms?
Yes. Let's get to the uniforms. Play the jingle.
All right, here we go. Discussing the uniforms that were revealed this week. It's your jingle for this week's Hot Read.
Blue 58! Blue 58! Go! Hey, Ric Flair! Ric Flair! Pepper, Flip, Caliber.
Motown, Happy, Jolly, Drop, Buster, Boomer, Tiger. I think he's got a hound too, Rodney, I think.
B-19! B-19 is fucking...
Hey, Seattle! Ryan! Orange 83! Omaha!
All right, we already did an instant reaction show to the uniforms, but Jake wasn't on that one. And also, we've had time, Brian and I, to sit back and take in these jerseys some more and pick them apart and pick out what we like and maybe dislike. And we just need to dive deeper into them because they are so, I want to say, gorgeous. All 8 uniforms. 16, I guess, if you count road and home. I think they all are home runs, but some are better than others. And also, we have our own opinions. So let's get into it. The jerseys made by custom outfitters, available on shop.xfl.com. They are really, I think, getting the reception that I was hoping for, Brian. They seem to, all across the board, be well received, and there's something to like about every jersey. Of course, people have their favorites, but I haven't seen too much negativity, and that's saying something in today's day and age on social media.
There really hasn't been too much negativity, at least not from the diehard followers that have been watching and waiting for this moment for so long. There were some snippets out there. We saw a video of the coaches going in, I guess, during the coaches summit and looking at all the jerseys. There was a cool one where they were scaring staff members. I don't know if you caught that one too, Alan. It was a lot of fun. There was also a little tidbit, a little sneak peek the morning of jerseys revealing, which is pretty cool. So they're always just giving us this little bit. But yeah, finally the reveal happened late Tuesday night. It went all the way through, late Tuesday night. So I'm not gonna delay this anymore because I know I want this man to start talking, Alan. So unless you got anything left to say, I want to give the floor to Jake.
Well, Jake, take it over, but just know that Coach Moss said about the Wildcats jerseys to the rest of the league, you're done. You're done. So I want to start there with you, Jake. The LA Wildcats. Is Coach Moss right? Are those by far and away the best jerseys?
Well, to be fair, I think those jerseys could have been tie-dye with polka dots on them, and Coach Moss still would have said that everybody else is done.
Hey.
So,
actually, that would have been pretty cool if they were playing on, like, Santa Monica. That would have made more sense.
The LA Beach Bums. Yeah. So overall, I don't think there is any duds in here. Of course, there's some that I like better than others. Alan, let me ask you this, because Bryant and I were talking before you met up with us here on the chat. Has anything confirmed? Like, are the white jerseys the road jerseys, or is that just what we're assuming, or not necessarily?
Yeah. So if you go to XFL.com, each team has an article about their jerseys, and it explicitly says what the away jerseys are and what the home jerseys are, and for each team, the whites are the aways.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, you get almost a little bit of a color rush vibe, I guess, from some of these. Like, if you look at, I guess, maybe just DC and Tampa Bay. Now, let me ask you, too, is Tampa Bay too, pardon the pun, but is it too extreme for this version of the XFL?
I don't think so, because I thought there could have been a lot more, I guess, gimmicky kind of elements to these jerseys. Like, we talked about scales on the initial reaction show, and these jerseys are sans scales. They're just basically, I mean, I would say kind of just formal team color jerseys. There's not a lot extra going on here. I don't think they're too over the top. This is a team that rocks the green, and they rock it well, and I think in a respectable fashion, Jake. It's not some sort of goofy, third-rate type of looking create a team in Madden type jersey. I think these are very elegant for really unique team colors that you don't often see in pro sports.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's too much. I think if you would have reversed the colors and had it primarily that lime green, then it may have been too much. Plus, all those seats in the stadium are red. You might get some clash there. But Bryant, I think you may disagree with us. Is that correct? You're not very big on this?
Well, my perspective on this was a little different, because they were the biggest, just because I break down my rankings. I break down my values by like home, away, helmets, and overall cohesiveness. Those are the four categories that I look at. And as a home jersey for Tampa Bay, not a huge fan. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. I just don't think it's one of the better ones. But as an away jersey, I love the white as it pertains to those greens and those accents. I really love the away jerseys. So they had the biggest disparity to me between home and away.
Yeah, and I think you guys are going to disagree with me on this, especially Alan. I kind of feel like the Dragons away jersey, their away uniforms are really good. They almost look like the U to me. The home jerseys, I'm not big on. The thing is, I don't like that white background on the helmet, but I understand why they did it, because if you would put a navy blue or a green as your background, that dragon really wouldn't pop out of it. But Alan, you really like them, correct?
Oh my goodness, the helmet is absolutely amazing. Yeah. This is so awesome, and the white helmet, it stands out because Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, nobody else is rocking the white helmet in this league. So
you're correct. You're correct.
I think that stands out. I think that the fact that the dragon, we talked about this. What do you think about the dragon neck starts below the player's ear? Like, they're using different parts of this helmet for the logo you never see used by teams when it comes to placement of the logo on the helmet. It's unique, and it all blends in. And I think, Bryant, didn't you say the whole thing, the helmet with the jersey makes like a giant dragon body?
Yeah, I think it's on the away side. The dragon goes all the way down through the ear, through the sides of the pants, through that squiggly, side part of the pants that just looks like there's a dragon the whole way through it. It's pretty unique and pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, so for me, I look at it, I think I'll group these in two categories. I'll say DC, Houston, Tampa, New York, and LA are in one class of all very good. And then I would put St. Louis, Dallas, and Seattle, at least for me personally, on the bottom half of that.
Well, okay. All right. You're separating them a little bit. Can we talk about the
rankings?
Can we talk about the Guardians helmet then, Jake?
I think this is the best helmet.
I'm probably with you.
And I don't, like I said, I wasn't even big on that logo because it looks like an Egyptian sphinx or something with those stripes. But the way they did it, from the back, kind of looking like Michigan, I think it's great. I like the, I'll just go to the jerseys. I think that's good. I like the gray road jerseys also. But yeah, at least for me personally, I think New York has the best helmet.
I wish the heads they didn't go all the way to the back. I wish they were cut off a little bit. It was just kind of that ferocious head going forward. But now he just looks like he has some slick back hair. But either way, I still think that is probably the best helmet for sure. I
would extend it the whole way to the back.
Well, maybe it would look better if it was all the way to the bottom. But where they cut it off, I just didn't like.
I want to also point out that the Guardian, the gargoyle, it's got red teeth.
Didn't it always have red teeth?
It did, I know, but like red teeth on a helmet.
Out of the Defenders.
This is the most violent looking helmet. It's literally got blood all over its mouth is what it looks like. This is intense. The Guardians helmet. On duty. Ready to take a bite out of people with these helmets. I love it. I love the home jersey especially, Jake. The grays are good too.
Yeah.
The Houston Grays, though, what about those? We talked about that on the other show, too, the initial reaction. What do you think about Houston not wearing white?
I'm fine with it. I think, like I said, they were in my top half of the logos. I know some people were talking about the size or the placement of the logo on the helmet. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think Houston did a really good job on those.
Okay, now which one hasn't he hit yet, Brian? I guess DC we can get Jake's opinion on.
We go with DC. I think that's the one I'm really interested in because I flip-flop back and forth on this one a lot.
This one seems like the most
simplicity, but also a lot of effects.
This is the most polarizing. I've seen people say too basic, and other people say just amazing, awesome, clean. I'm probably in that camp, Jake. How about you?
Yeah, I guess I would go with the clean. I'd like to see what they could do switching up some of the pants, especially on the road, maybe wearing red pants on there looks a little bit, looks a little bit like Oklahoma, I guess, with all the whites there. Not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, DC played it very safe, but I still think it works very good for them. I wouldn't want to try to do anything more brash. Brian, what do you think about your team, the Wildcats?
Oh, I love them. I'm not. That's just not a homer. That's a legit. There's we talked about the scratch marks going down the sides of the pants on the helmets. It just looks legit. I love the ombre look that they have going down the entire uniform. The orange face masks gives it that little extra on the helmet that you really want to, that you love. And if to a non XFL fan that doesn't know anything about it, where this team is from, and that's why I love the LA logo and exactly where it's placed. Right in the middle, not going over the top of the head, not on the side. I just love the whole concept of the Wildcats jersey.
Jake, I want to say something controversial here. Bryant, I don't know how you're going to take this. LA, I think, should exclusively wear those white pants, home and away. They are the best pants in the league. I love them. They are so cool.
I think if you're wearing the black jersey, you got to go with the pants.
You don't.
I'd have to see it, Alan.
Yeah, somebody might have.
If somebody out there can mimic that and put the black jersey on the white pants just to look at it, I don't mind them. They're great pants. Like I said, that ombre, the scratch marks going all the way down to the bottom, pretty intense. But let me see. Does the black also have that orange stripe on the side? The black ones have a red stripe on the side, so it's going to be a little different. So, Alan, I'm gonna let this one slide because you can't really tell that well. But
you think it would
stripe
clash?
On the white pants are orange.
It would
the
clash
stripe on the home jersey is red. So my Clash logo.
Okay. Well, all I know is that these are my favorite pants in the league. There's something about them. I don't know. These are unlike something
you'd ever see. Pants online. Let me check.
I don't know if we could get these, but I just like any pants with claw marks, Jake. They're awesome. And here's the other controversial stance I took, and it was because of the LA uniforms. I said the LA Wildcats have the best face mask. What do you think of that statement?
I'm just scanning through right now, and I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, it gives it so much.
I'll agree with you because it's orange. You know, you got some other people that have some different colors, but the LA one just pops there. And I know everybody wants to hear me say about St. Louis and Dallas because I didn't mention them yet. I put them in the lower half. I don't think they're as good as the other ones. For as menacing as that Renegade logo is, there's just something between that hue of blue and red and black that, doesn't work for me. The St. Louis, I don't think it's, I think it's in the bottom half, but it really doesn't matter what they're wearing either because they're taking over everything that used to be in that town.
They could have came out in tie-dyes and no one would have cared. That's the true reason right there.
I want to take you back to Tampa Bay before we go to St. Louis, Jake. What about their face mask? I look at their helmet and I feel like, shouldn't the face mask be the lime green?
Not necessarily. I like matching that yellow color, that accent color that they got on their helmets there and on their numbers. So no, I think that's a good choice.
I think the next ball I get, Brian, I'm getting that Viper ball. The more and more I look at it, it looks cool. Especially if you go to the website, the guy's holding a darker Viper ball. I think it's not even, I think it's like black with the Viper colors. I don't know if that's like a special ball they're holding on the official uniform video they put out. We didn't talk St. Louis too much though, Jake. Let's get to them. I would say this helmet's up there in the running for one of the best. And I think the outlines of the numbers on the jerseys really pop their numbers more than most teams.
I'll agree with you on the numbers. I think their road jerseys are better than their home jerseys, and I think the wings are a little too big on the helmet for my taste.
That's why I like it. Using the space.
Over-exaggerating.
It looks like what was?
Wait, hold on, Alan. You're saying using the space. DC, Dallas, and LA. Those three teams use the minimal amount of space, and it looks great. You don't need to have this huge-looking thing on the side of your helmet.
Sometimes it's cool to be different. I like this, and also don't forget if you look at the helmet a certain way, you see STL. If you look at it from the back, and to really make the wings that large, it really makes that element pop as well.
What was the Greek god? What was it, Hermes or something? The guy that he was like the messenger for Zeus. Paul Schaefer voiced him in the Disney movie. That's what this reminds me of. Somebody with a helmet on with wings on it.
Yeah. The other thing too, I will say, is the Houston logo to me is also too big on the side of the helmet. It goes up too high. It should kind of condense a little bit and not be all the way to the top.
I think, if I'm picking one thing out for the Houston uniforms, I would want white jerseys. I know I think I'm in the minority on that one. What about we really praise the Guardians jerseys, Jake. Is there anything from the Guardians you'd like to see different?
I don't know what it could be. Not really. You got red teeth.
You got red teeth, man.
You got red teeth. You got great road. Great road colors. I don't think so. I think that's really it. I mean, my last question. Hold on here.
You're delaying this, but go ahead. Finish. Yep. That's fine. Go ahead.
My last question, Alan. Are any of these teams missing an opportunity by, not having the logo only on one side of their helmet?
Oh wow! There's only one team in all of football that can get away with that, Jake. Right? There's no one else even has attempted.
I guess not.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not an option. Right. Also, are you guys done? I want to tell you this too, Bryant, Jake. The fact that there are multiple teams with helmets that I think use the space on the sides of the helmet to create a full effect that without one side, the other side doesn't make sense. Like the wings on these BattleHawks helmets.
Well, yeah,
you can't have small wings. You got to have it wrap around the whole helmet. It makes the whole helmet an effective piece of fashion, and it's a beautiful work of art, if you ask me. And I just think that they approach the helmet designs especially in really creative ways. Some might say the jerseys are a little bit less poppy and extravagant than people expected. I like that, and I like that they put that kind of energy into the helmets. Now, Bryant, you could say what you want to say.
Well, we've delayed this long enough. I think it's about time. There's no reason not to. Jake, uniforms are out.
Yeah.
Who, my friend, are you cheering for this coming season?
Oh, I don't think I ever said this was going to be the deciding factor.
Oh, my G.
I still have 9 weeks before kickoff season.
9 weeks!
People are waiting. People are texting me. What team is Jake cheering for so I can choose that team
Who are these people?
I have my sources. Don't you worry about it. And well, sources don't really matter. I have friends, too, sometimes. And they're asking, what team is Jake going to cheer for so I can cheer for that team as well? Come on, Jake. You said team jerseys. You're waiting for team jerseys.
That was one of the things I was waiting for. I'm also waiting for mascots and fight songs.
There's not even a rule book yet. Jake's got to also see the rule book.
You're right. What if there's a rule that says if you're wearing a dragon on your helmet, you only get 3 downs?
Yeah.
Then it might, the whole
like
thing.
Canadian rules. Here, one last serious question about these jerseys, Jake. Do you want to see sponsors on the jerseys, like on the opposite side of where the league logo is on the breastplate?
I don't think any league wants to have, or no fans of any league want to see sponsors on the jerseys. But if it's something they have to do, then that's fine.
I mean, that could be a source of revenue. You understand why the NBA started doing that, so I don't think I would mind it. I guess I have held back or fallen back on that stance a little bit. I don't need to die on that hill as much as I'm probably used to as a fan, at least. It wouldn't bother me so long as they're appropriate sponsors. You don't want to see like Jim's bail bonds, Chico's bail bonds is one of the sponsors.
I don't know. I mean, you gotta get the revenue wherever you get it from.
Correct that statement. You don't get the revenue wherever. No, that's not how this works.
Listen, if Ben Gay wants to sponsor the Houston Roughnecks, I'm all for that.
That's fine because you had Tough Actin' Tinactin sponsoring football players for years. I'm cool with Ben Gay. There's
very different products.
That's true too. But you got to limit yourself.
Let's limit it to just creams and powders then for the sponsors. We could.
Here come your Gold Bond Guardians.
Yeah. That'd be perfect.
Your Lanacane Dragons.
Yes. Generic Lidocaine
Defenders.
Oh, man.
Your Vicks Vapor Vipers.
Oh man,
that might be the only way you can make these jerseys better. Then would be that.
Alliteration,
alliteration with the sponsorships. That's it.
Alliterative sponsors. That's what we're going to.
Take note. That's what we want as fans. The Vicks Vapor Rub Vipers, baby. Can you imagine the Aaron Murray commercials, Jake?
Can you imagine the smell in that stadium?
The first 20,000 fans through the door get a tube, or a jar. What's that called?
Jake,
lube up your chest and enjoy the game.
The Gold Bond Guardians. Oh man.
All fine products. We're not making light of that.
Is there a deodorizer that we could use for the defenders? Maybe that'd be good too. Degree deodorant defenders.
There you go. Degree.
Just keep going.
Oh, all right, we got to stop before it gets out of hand. But we've been waiting for that segment for a long time, and it ended in I'm in tears laughing.
And ended just the way I thought it would 99 weeks ago.
Yep, there it is.
Jake mapped it out any better.
Wait, last question, Jake, and because you're the one that hyped it up and talked about it the most. The jerseys, did they deliver as expected? Did they exceed your expectations overall?
I think they delivered as expected. Like I said, nothing too crazy. We weren't going for the original XFL here, although the red teeth were very close.
Yeah, red teeth. I mean, that is just special. I gotta say, I know we're doing a ranking show for Patreon, Bryant, but as of this moment, I think the Guardians might be my front runners.
Well, I've kind of done mine. I'm going to go through it again a couple times before I actually decide on who my number 1 through 8 are. But check that out. It is going to be on the Patreon this week coming up. I think, Alan, right? We're going to do a nice little rankings as we always do on the Patreon. When we did it with coaches. We've done it with team names. We've done it with everything.
Yep.
And we're going to do it with team jerseys and colors and logos and all that stuff combined
the
into
whole
one
shebang.
Cohesive show.
Yes. And, actually looking at, the BattleHawks have a freaking sword on their helmet, though. Running down the middle of it, Jake. They're my number 1, actually, as of now, just this moment. But that might change.
I'm sure that'll change in 7 days.
Then, we'll see. Those LA pants are really good, too. Oh, it's tough to pick. The cool thing is, if you want to score one, they are up on XFL Shop. So that was quick. I got to be honest. I didn't expect them to be up for sale that quickly, Bryant.
Yeah, expected ship date for these jerseys is 12/13, so they might arrive before Christmas. Take the family photo in front of a Christmas tree with wearing all your Wildcats jerseys. Come on now. Let's do it. Real quick, too, Alan, I just want to say jerseys are great, man, but when's the rule book coming out?
Pretty soon. I'll tell you when the rule book's coming out, though. Definitely within the next 9 weeks, because you need one to play games, right? So we know for sure. 9 weeks.
That is true, Alan. And you do bring up 99 weeks that we've been doing this show next week. Stay tuned, because we're trying to do a couple of big things for next week. It is going to be episode 100. So as we normally do things on this show, we're going to do it very grandiose, I think.
Oh, we know how to do a big show for episode 100, and that's coming next week, baby.
He knows what it takes to build a great and competitive football team.
Jake, you think you could bring a potato gun to next week's show? It's episode 100.
Yeah, I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Roman candles, screaming memes, and hopefully some great guests, big announcements, and a whole lot of XFL talk for you on our 100th episode. That'll be coming next week. And we're super pumped for that, and we are super pumped that you subscribe to the show and listen. And hopefully you've been listening all 100 weeks. Or if you're just joining us on this bandwagon, on this road to 2020, hey, there's plenty of room. We welcome you with open arms, and we cannot wait to ride into kickoff and beyond with you. Thank you so much for subscribing to the show and all the other places you could find us at XFL Show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Am I forgetting? Oh, the YouTube, Bryant, also with interviews cut up, full shows, and of course the Patreon. We're everywhere. And let's give them that number as well. If you want to call in and give us your rankings of the jerseys, 724-565-4XFL. That's the XFL fan line. Did I forget anything, Brian?
Nothing, Alan. I know you're probably going to say it, but I'll say it again. Thank you, Josh Johnson. Thank you, Coach Hayes, for being our guest this week. This show wouldn't have been complete without you guys, so thank you. Check out next week's Good Chris interview, too. We'll interview, who knows? Just got to stay tuned to social media, like Alan was saying, at XFL Show.
Yeah, if we didn't have them, it actually probably would have been another 20 to 30 minutes of Jake coming up with sponsorships for the jerseys, which actually might be an episode unto itself. Jake, I think we discovered something there.
Yeah, Brian, put together a Google Doc on that we can all contribute to this week.
Open source software. You got it, my friend.
All right, time to get to work on that, and we'll be back next week for episode 100. Until then, thanks for listening. For Bryant, for Jake, I'm Alan. This is the XFL Show. Remember, they're listening.
Thanks for watching and listening, XFL fans. Don't forget to tell us what you think in the comments below, or even better, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things XFL. Check out some of our other videos and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at XFL Show. This is the XFL Show is a production of Pretty Easy Podcasts.